Welcome back to another video.
Do not obey. Stay woke.
When the horse stood up.
Ancient spiritual technology. Demon.
Heard any stories from your nanas or pawpaws?
Okay. Peace.
What's up, guys? It's me, Do Not Obey, and let's get into another video. Now, we are back at the Denver airport. Now, if you don't know, you can do some quick research and you will see that there's a lot of demonic conspiracy, just not understanding why, in a way. Well, I kind of understand it. It's like they're putting it in our faces. What's the easiest way to hide everything that's true? Is to make a joke out of it. There has been tunnels, things heard there, mysterious things, just a death of the person that made that horse. Look, there's a lot going on. So I found some updated clips. There may be a few old clips in there, but there are some updated clips, some new things that were placed in that airport. And I just want to bring you guys a video on it. So let me know what you guys think. Do not obey. Stay woke. Peace.
Anybody see the video that was going viral this past week of a worker that apparently had clearance to access certain parts of these tunnels that he was showing off on video? Probably not smart, but tunnels of which he showed being clearly underneath the airport. I mean, he showed himself walking into the airport and then eventually walking through numerous hallways of which he gained clearance into, and then he took an elevator down below, which seemed like levels down below, might I mention, and he proceeded to walk through this other hallway. And when he walked outside of the door at the end of this hallway, he showed these vast tunnel systems. I mean, these seem to have stretched out for well over a mile. It looked like you could even drive a fucking semi through them. It's actually crazy because on his video, you can actually see numerous individuals passing by him, some even wearing these full black suits. I mean, these things look like mining tunnels. And then he proceeded to talk about something, which is probably why his video just so happened to be taken down. He proceeded to speak about these aircraft that he claimed were hidden down below in various sections throughout these tunnels.
Seeing as how all the conspiracies are real now, let's revisit the Denver International Airport. Now, if you're not familiar with the lore behind this place and all of its weird symbolism, I'm going to break it down for you. So, construction on the DIA started in 1989, finished in 1995, a year late and $2 billion over budget. This place is twice the size of Manhattan. But here's where it gets strange. There are entire buildings and tunnels that were supposedly built by mistake and then buried during construction. Hidden underground infrastructure that could be used for what exactly? Now let's talk about what's there. Baggage claim, you're greeted by a pair of gargoyles, one of which is an animatronic and makes jokes about the Illuminati. There's also this statue of Anubis outside, the Egyptian god of death. Why is that there? And then there's these murals showing these gas mask soldiers and sleeping children, rotting cities. The artists that made these said they are supposed to depict world peace, but you tell me. And then there's Lucifer, that demonic-looking 32-foot tall blue Mustang statue with the glowing red eyes that some say represents one of the four horses of the apocalypse. And during its construction, a piece of it fell off and killed the sculptor. Oh, and then there's the Freemason cornerstone, logo and all, calling the DIA the New World Airport Commission, an organization that doesn't exist. Now, the deepest part, well, that's probably the tunnels. There are occasional reports from workers who claim they work there, that have said they've gone down level after level under this complex, deeper than they have clearance for sometimes, and they start to feel warm air rising up from even deeper unknown levels before turning back. It just looks like it keeps going on forever. Now, some believe there are deep underground rail systems connecting other locations across the world, or that there are secret bunkers for certain people down there. There are others who have also reported encountering these men in black-like figures guarding doors, and these figures induce an overwhelming sense of dread into anyone who encounters them. But the DIA says it's all nonsense, and they even lean into the theories, putting up these infographics around the place featuring lizards and aliens and all sorts of other weird theories. But why go so hard with the jokes unless you're hiding something, right?
Verified security footage from Denver International Airport on March 15th shows something that shouldn't exist. Every passenger boarding flight 447 to Chicago appears twice in the same frame. Sarah Chun, head of airport security, discovered the anomaly during routine review. At 6:43 a.m., cameras captured 180 passengers walking through gate B7. But the timestamp glitch revealed something horrifying. The exact same people, wearing identical clothes, making identical movements, walked through the same gate at 6:41 a.m. 0.2 minutes earlier. Same passengers, same everything. The manifest showed only one flight, 447. The airline confirmed only one departure. But the footage doesn't lie. Two identical groups of people, down to a child's untied shoelace and a woman's coffee stain, boarded planes that existed in the same space. Sarah pulled the gate records. Both flights showed as departed on time. Both passenger lists were identical, down to seat assignments. When she called Chicago O'Hare, they confirmed flight 447 landed safely. But they also confirmed another flight 447 landed 2 minutes earlier. The audio from the cockpit radio crackles with the pilot's final transmission. Control, we can see ourselves landing below us. Your boarding pass for tomorrow. Check the timestamp. Did you notice it printed twice?
I'm at the Denver airport with the new art installation in the center of the airport. We start off here with the world. At the South Pole there is a gate, and then around the world is sand. At the North Pole there's this pole that leads up to this arrow. The arrow points down to what it looks like perhaps a firmament, to a train station. I should also mention the world is depicted as flat over there. From the train station, from the arrow, we come down here. Perhaps a way to get in and out of the world as we know it. Again, surrounded by rocks and sand. Maybe this is where the lizard people live.
Heard any of those stories that surround the Denver airport? If you haven't, I'm sure you're going to have fun down that rabbit hole. Anyway, I have an interesting little glitch story, and of course it happens to surround the Denver airport. But it's totally different than all of the other things I'm sure you'll come across about that airport. So this person writes that they were living in Denver and their friend was flying into the Denver airport to visit. The Denver National Airport was about 30 minutes away and their friend was scheduled to land at 11:15 p.m. But at exactly 10:30 p.m., they receive a text message from this friend that was supposed to be on the flight, and it said, "I just landed, are you here?" So they assumed her flight just landed early, so they started to scramble and get ready and get out the door to make the trip over to the airport. While they were on their way, they called this friend just to confirm, and it went straight to voicemail. She thinks maybe her phone died or something. But what was even weirder still was while they were driving to the airport, they kept refreshing the flight info, and it said that the plane was still in transit. So they end up getting to the airport earlier than 11:15, but they can't get a hold of their friend and everything says that the plane is still in transit. So they start circling the airport and waiting for any sign from their friend. And then right around 11:15, she gets a text message from that friend. And it was the exact same text message that she received at 10:30. So now she has two identical text messages in her phone. One was timestamped for 10:30 and the other one was around 11:15. So she calls her friend again and it rings and she picks up right away. She asked her friend, "Did you text me from on the plane?" And her friend said, "No, because my phone was off. I turned my phone off for the flight." So when she finally meets up with her, she asks to see her phone and she wanted to compare text conversations. And sure enough, while her phone had the two different timestamps on messages, her friend only had one sent out at 11:15. Her friend also confirmed that she did not previously type the message out, just waiting to hit send. There was no way that she could have typed out that message. Her phone was completely off. She only did that once the plane landed. She said that this glitch in the Matrix made her waste 15 minutes of her life circling the airport. What do you guys think? Glitch in the Matrix? Or let me know what your thoughts are on a more rational explanation.
Telling me the Denver airport has a city underneath it?
When I was in the Army, my battle buddy, Scoville, he did private security
underneath the Denver airport.
So did your battle buddy ever tell you what it was like under there?
The best way he's ever been able to describe it is like 8D human ant farm.
Who's under there?
The 1% of the 1%. People who you think are dead are down there. When you hear about these like bunkers or off-site things that Bezos and these guys are putting together, they all lead to this.
So that's like their own property down there, like their own land underground?
Oh yeah.
Wow, and you think that Elon and everybody wanting to go to Mars and outer space
That's
is
a trick.
A distraction.
It's a distraction.
Wake up, people.
It's all a distraction. Life isn't up there, it's underneath us.
And they always say look inside. They're pointing it in our faces.
Dude, it is the first time that I've ever for 1 second thought the earth was flat.
Hey, you! Yeah, you! Come over here! Closer! Let's do a selfie.
This airport stays making people crash out, bruh. This is part 2 to the Denver airports, and we all know how creepy this airport can be. For example, my last video I talked about Lucifer, and how every time there's construction or maintenance, you have to hire a new contractor, just things like that. But what everyone freaks out over is this. Everyone freaks over these symbolic murals because each one actually has a meaning behind it. Like, bro, look at this one. Like, why is everyone's face covered with face masks? Now, the conspiracy over this mural is that it actually predicted COVID. The reason for it is because this mural was painted back in 1994 while COVID happened back in 2020. This is another one that creeped me out because the name of this mural is called Nature's Peace or something like that. But to me, it looks like everyone's freaking out because of the fire back there. And it looks like they're praying to like stop whatever chaos is happening as well. Now here's another one that's pretty creepy because look, there's a kid there watching everything go down, like all the chaos and everything. To most people, this may seem like it's a kid witnessing a war or something like that. Now here's another one of the murals. It looks like people right here like reaching their hands out to like try to go to heaven or whatever they're trying to do. But just hope and pray when you get layover, you're not stationed at this airport.
Okay, I'm in Denver, Colorado. Okay, the airport is right here to my left. Now, listen, I work road construction. I'm going to show y'all something, okay? So, we have these manholes. Each manhole shows you what it is. I'm going to show you each manhole in a 1,000-foot radius, okay? This little one says CP testing. Stay with me now. Just stay with me. Okay, this next one on the sidewalk is a storm sewer. So the water goes there. It says storm sewer. Okay. This one, sewer. This one, water. This one, water. Water. This one right here, electric. Now stay with me, okay? Remember, stay with me. It's actually, stay with me, okay? Now, here we are working, and then all of a sudden on the sidewalk, now let me remind you, I said the Denver airport, look, there's an airplane right there. The Denver airport is now right here on my right, okay? We all know about under the Denver airport. Now, look at this. Okay, in a 1,000-foot radius, I've showed you the manholes. They were, in the road. Tell me why on the sidewalk, this one, it doesn't have anything about what it is. It only says, who made the top or whatever. And look at the pattern on it. It's not like any of the other ones. And it's huge. Huge. Like you can fit peoples in there. So, conspiracy? Nah.
Second scariest thing that I'm thinking of right now. I still think about that airport sometimes, because when I'm picking up my bags at, Carousel 3, the first thing I want to see is a gargoyle and ball.
Yeah.
It's the weirdest.
Just Moloch ball perching in a suitcase.
Denver is weird.
The whole place was weird.
Out of all, I've been to every major city in the United States. If I had to pick the spot where the Civil War's kicking off, it's Denver. I've never seen a populace that hates each other more than the people of Denver. It's like Denver is people that have been there since their ancestors came there in a covered wagon, and people that have been there since they legalized pot, and they fucking hate each other.
Dude, they
do not like each other at all.
They don't. Yep, look, that's literally they're all over the airport.
Just some lesser demon gargoyles hanging out.
And then there's the Lucifer, the big blue Satan horse with its glowing red eyes. That's what you see as you're about to get on a plane that's over a bunch of aliens.
Not disconcerting at all.
Like, why are the eyes following me? Like, you know what you see when you go to Nashville? Guitars. Like, there's people playing music. You know?
Sounds nice.
Paradise Season 2 just ended with a wild cliffhanger about the Denver airport, but it's shocking me how few people know about the real-life conspiracy theories about this exact plot. Let's get into it. So, like, the whole doomsday bunker under the Denver airport storyline, that's not random. That's a decades-old conspiracy theory. It is believed that underneath the Denver airport, there are massive underground tunnels, hidden bunkers, and a place elites will go if the world ends. And the total cost of construction of this airport ended up being $2 billion over budget. And there were claims back in the 80s that they built parts of the airport and then buried them, which makes no sense unless something's been hidden. And then to make things worse, inside of the airport there are these really disturbing murals depicting war scenes, people in gas masks, dead animals, and really apocalyptic imagery. And there's a long-standing idea that if DC were to ever suffer a catastrophic loss, Denver would immediately become the new capital of the United States, which does give credence to the idea that there's all this secret underground infrastructure in Denver. And then there's Lucifer, which is honestly the most absurd part about the entire theory. Lucifer is a 32-foot tall blue horse statue with red eyes that towers over the airport. And during construction, a piece of it broke off and killed the artist who made it. Like, severed his artery. He died before it was ever completed. And that's what greets you when you land. So it's looking like Paradise Season 3 is going to be totally intertwined with real-life conspiracy theories about the Denver International Airport.
To me that something's not going on with the Denver airport. This goes beyond conspiracy theories and rabbit holes. Everything about that place is so eerie, from the maps to the art, everything around it. Now they have this new gargoyle, and it sounds like Robin Williams, but it's AI powered. They say that it's there temporarily, but when people walk by, it talks to it, and it has cameras watching it. So if somebody's on their phone, it's like, get off the phone. It started talking to this lady with the cleaning cart. It was like, let me borrow your cart. And it's just a bit too eerie. And the question is always why? Because is this supposed to be a Mandela effect? Is this a distraction? Is it a Matrix glitch? Why is it that there's always something bizarre when it comes to the Denver airport? Furthermore, a couple of months ago, there was that lady who was quite literally on her knees, and she was saying that she was being held against her will, that for the sake of the lives of her children, she needed people to listen to her because things were going to happen soon. And everyone was so desensitized, they just walked by her, disregarded her. Everybody's too overstimulated, too worried about their own obligations to even be concerned about people when they're acting crazy. And that's what is disregarded like. It's like, oh, there's just another person acting crazy. Welcome to 2025. But there's always something weird when it comes to the Denver airport.
What is going on at the Denver airport? This story is especially scary because I know the person that it happened to, and it's recent, like just happened this weekend over the holiday. Got a call from a friend of mine. She was freaking out because she had a layover yesterday at the Denver airport, and she had never been there before. It was like a short time frame. It was like a delay from her takeoff. Anyway, she was running late. So she gets to the gate. The woman at the gate was like, hey, your gate's been changed. You know, no big deal. That happens all the time. So she tells her that she needs to go to G6. Points in like a direction, like go that way, and just kind of sends her on her way. So she's like going, she sees like a weird sign that tells her to like go down a hallway or something. She said that as she's walking down the hallway, she saw payphones, and she said, I have not seen a payphone and I don't even know how long. And then it started looking like really old, outdated. So she's immediately like, what's happening? She gets to the room, she sees that it says G6, and she said it wasn't even like a normal gate. It was like a room with no windows. It was really weird. She said it was yellow on the inside. So she's describing it, and I'm like, ugh, I hate liminal spaces. And she didn't know what that meant. But anyway, there were a few people in there, but she said they were not moving. No one had their phones out. She kept trying to like connect her phone to the Wi-Fi, and it just kept like glitching and restarting. She said that she specifically remembers looking at the clock, and the clock said 2:14, and she was relieved that she had like 16 minutes before her flight started boarding. She doesn't travel a lot, so she was already stressed out. So she's sitting there for a few minutes reading a book on her Kindle when she looks up and the clock still said 2:14 and the people had not moved. So she starts getting like really freaked out. So she tries to leave and she goes down the hallway, makes like a turn or whatever, ends up right back where she started. Now she said she was almost like hysterical. She tries to leave again. She comes back in the room and all of the people are gone, but their coats are still on the seat. So this time she leaves the room. She's like running, crying when she runs into a janitor and tells the janitor like, hey, like, can you help me find like the gate or whatever? He tells her that there's no such thing as G6. Now, I don't go to Denver a lot, so I'm listening to the story. And as she's telling me this on the phone, I pull up my I start looking for it to see if, and they don't have one. She goes to the airline, tells them like, hey, I missed my flight. They pull it up and they're like, there was never a flight. That flight doesn't exist. Like, what are you talking about? And she was like, I have the boarding pass. So she starts like looking for it. And that's when she realized that she left it on the seat that she sat down on in G6. And she tells the lady like, hey, I must have left it like, at that G6, but I'm not going back. And the woman's like, there's no G6.
The Denver airport has a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding it. It is rumored to be one of the most evilest places on earth. Just check out this recording.
Please watch your step.
Part of the experience is that we rode it alone, back and forth, because I don't know how many.
Police are looking for a 15-year-old girl who vanished from Denver International Airport on January 30th. 15-year-old Harper Cadman had been receiving treatment at a mental health facility in Montana. She had a layover at Denver International Airport before catching her final flight home to California. Cadman's mother said her luggage made the connecting flight back to California, which just deepens the mystery. Her mom has also confirmed that Harper does not know anybody in the Denver or surrounding area. Harper's family has been in the Denver area since this happened, talking to detectives and the homeless population trying to locate their daughter. Harper is 5'7" and 115 pounds. She has blue eyes, dyed black hair, and braces. She also has facial piercings and tattoos on her waist and middle finger. She was last seen wearing a sweatshirt and leggings and has no belongings with her. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Harper Cadman, please contact the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children at 1-800-THE-LOSS.
Tragic loss with Frontier Airlines and at the Denver airport where the engine engulfed that person that was on a live runway. The plane number was 4345. Numerology, all of that equaled up to 7. 7 is what? The number of completion. He passed on an airport runway, which airports are portals. Frontier is another budget airline. What happened to Spirit? Picking up what I'm putting down.
Maybe we could talk to the lizard people that live underneath the airport? That's a deep cut. If you're from Denver, you'll get it. I don't know about anybody else.
Yeah, well, the horse with the fiery eyes outside of it, that brings a lot of theory, brings a lot of conspiracy to the area and the lizard people.
Denver International Airport on the 11th of May of 2026, showing the unidentified individual who is trespassing on the active runway for the airport. You can see them trying to walk across the runway, and as they're walking across the runway, a plane that was literally in the process of taking off, which was Frontier Airlines Flight 4345, bound for Los Angeles, hit the guy around 11:19 p.m. local time, which resulted in the plane having to stop their takeoff and pull off and then emergency evacuate everybody out of the plane. According to first responder radio audio that was captured at the grim scene, somebody said, quote, "Runway 17 Lima is closed. I do have limbs on the runway. I believe the aircraft struck an individual." Now, so far, the person is still unidentified. They haven't released the name of this person. It was being investigated as a security breach by the NTSB, the FAA, the TSA, Denver police, and airport authorities. I question whether or not they even know who this person is, because it's going to be very hard to identify somebody that got sucked into an aircraft engine, especially because all their identifying features are kind of not really there to identify. So I don't know how they're going to figure out who this person was. Maybe from dental records or something. Maybe they can find a hand and get some fingerprints. That's the only thing I could think.
This is for entertainment purposes, and this is all alleged. I'm going to explain to you what happened to get me here tonight, but I want to start from the beginning of the timeline for the coherence of the story. Elizabeth Johnson, the heiress of Johnson & Johnson, has two stories that are important for this story. First, she had a school that she opened up in Cambodia. that was called the Golden Children. The man that was running it is on the run now for essaying all the school children and embezzling a ton of money from the school. The second part that you need to know is that she gifted in 1998 a ski resort in Vail, Colorado to Jeffrey Epstein. Vail, Colorado is about 2 hours away from Denver and 2 hours away from Boulder. That'll come up important later. Now, Vail, Colorado is a ski resort town. It is run by a company, like all of the ski resorts are run by a company called Vail Industries. Vail Industries falls under a larger corporation called Apollo Global Management. Apollo Global Management is a wealth management firm that is run by, or that was co-founded by a man named Leon Black. Leon Black stepped down as CEO in 2021 because it turns out that he had given or paid about $170 million to Jeffrey Epstein between the years of 2012 and 2017. Apollo Global Management owns a ton of private infrastructure, private planes, private hangars. They run the shuttles. They're the management group for the Denver International Airport. The shuttles go in and all the way down to Vail, Colorado. Now, there is no evidence that they went directly to Jeffrey Epstein's estate, but they went into the resorts in Vail, Colorado. Boulder, Colorado is where John Benet Ramsey is from. And it is also the home of what is believed to be a child ring that is operating out of Boulder, Colorado. Denver International Airport, which is just a hop, skip, and jump away from Boulder, has been feeding into its own conspiracy theories since its opening in 1995. And I always thought that since it's the second largest airport in the world and the biggest in the country, I always thought that it was interesting that they were feeding into the lore, because if there was ever a place that you would want to have a conspiracy theory hanging over it, especially something with like lizard people, which is what it is, that would be the perfect place to do nefarious misdeeds, because any rumors that came out of that place would immediately be attributed to the conspiracy theories. Denver International Airport has a ton of underground tunnels that are not utilized. They were built for TSA and for luggage. They were not utilized, so they're still underground, but they're not being used. On top of that, and so today I'm working on my homework. I'm working on homework on a McGraw-Hill textbook, or a McGraw-Hill site. Okay, my textbook is McGraw-Hill. And I got to a question that was incredibly weird. And I will show it to you in the comments. And it made me think about the fact that wasn't Maxwell connected to a textbook company? And so I looked up who owns McGraw-Hill. Who owns McGraw-Hill, you ask? Apollo Global Management. They owned it with Leon Black until Leon Black stepped down in 2021, and Mark Rowan stepped up. Who is Mark Rowan? Mark Rowan is one of the founding members of the Peace Board. Who is the Peace Board? The Peace Board is the little group that they're making to rival the UN. And who? You want to know something really interesting about Mark Rowan? Mark Rowan is the vice president of DARCA, a nonprofit organization that runs the nonprofit schools, 53 of them for 30,000 students in Israel. And he was still co-founder of Apollo in 2014, which means Mark Rowan from the years 2014 to 2021 is the co-founder of and still an active member in the Apollo Global Management Group while they owned McGraw-Hill. They were also major players in DARCA and the Youth Relief Fund. That's normal and above board. So he is the chairman at the Youth Renewal Fund, which is essentially a fund that is paid for by the elite in the United States, and a lot of people in the United States, for DARCA, for the Israeli schools. Multiple people. Including the director of human resources at NBC Universal. And I want you to look up here, okay? Just for a second, up, well, where it says Aries Management up there. See, I was curious. I wanted to follow the Ramseys, so I followed them to Columbus. There's a whole lot happening in Columbus. McGraw-Hill is in Columbus. And I want you to pay attention to where it says Aries for a second. Look at where the headquarters for McGraw-Hill is. So we have the word Vale at play here. We have Orion, Apollo, and now Aries. That's not a coincidence or anything.